Man United striker dilemma. Should they break the bank for Alexander Isak instead of Benjamin Sesko? Welcome to Unite United News, your most trusted source for all things Manchester United. When it comes to transfer news, tactical analysis, and insider insights about our beloved Red Devils, we are here to bring you the facts that matter. Our dedicated team works around the clock to ensure you get the most reliable and up-to-date information about United. Today, we dive deep into one of the most heated debates surrounding Old Trafford this summer. The big question that has every United fan talking. Picture this scenario. You are Ruben Amorim, sitting in your office at Carrington, looking at your squad list. You have young talents like Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee, but something feels missing. The board is willing to spend money, but which striker should United target? Should they go for the young and promising Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig? Or should they break the bank for Newcastle's proven Premier League star Alexander Isak? This is not just another transfer rumor. This is a decision that could shape Manchester United's attacking future for years to come. Rio Ferdinand, our legendary former captain, has made his feelings crystal clear. He believes United should avoid the Sesko mistake and instead go all out for Isak. But is he right? Why United need a new striker right now? Let's be honest about where United stand right now. The club has already spent big money this summer, bringing in Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha for a combined £134.5 million. That's serious money, but Amorim still wants more additions before the transfer window closes on September 1st. The Portuguese manager has identified 3 key areas that need strengthening. He wants a new striker, a goalkeeper, and a central midfielder. Among these positions, the striker role seems to be causing the biggest headache for everyone at Old Trafford. Why is finding the right striker so important for United right now? The answer lies in what happened last season. United struggled to score goals consistently. They created chances but often failed to put the ball in the back of the net when it mattered most. Højlund showed promise, but he is still young and learning. Zirkzee has potential, but he needs time to adapt to the Premier League's physical demands. United fans have seen this story before. Young strikers with huge potential who need time to develop. The question is whether United can afford to wait for another young player to mature, or if they need someone who can deliver goals immediately. The case against Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko has been making waves across Europe. The Slovenian striker has impressed many with his performances for RB Leipzig. He is tall, strong, and has shown he can score goals at the highest level. Many United fans would be excited to see him in the famous red shirt, but Rio Ferdinand is not convinced. The former United defender believes signing Sesko would be a mistake right now. Why does Ferdinand think this way? The main concern is experience. Sesko is undoubtedly talented, but he is still relatively young in his career. Ferdinand argues that United already have young strikers in Højlund and Zirkzee. Adding another inexperienced player to the mix might not solve the immediate problem. Ferdinand explained his thinking clearly. He said United needs someone at the top of the pitch who can show the younger players how to play as a number 9. They need a leader, someone who has been there and done it before. Sesko, despite his talent, cannot provide that kind of leadership yet. Think about it from a practical standpoint. When United face tough games against Manchester City, Liverpool, or Arsenal, do they want to rely on a striker who is still learning the ropes? Or would they prefer someone who has already proven themselves in these big moments? Ferdinand also pointed out that signing Sesko would be taking another risk. United have taken many risks on young players in recent years. Some have worked out, but others have not. At this stage, Ferdinand believes United needs certainty rather than potential. The concern is not about Sesko's ability. Everyone agrees he has talent. The concern is about timing. Is this the right moment for United to invest in another young striker who might take 2 or 3 years to reach his peak? Why Alexander Isak could be the perfect solution. This brings us to Alexander Isak, the Swedish striker who has been lighting up St. James' Park since joining Newcastle. Ferdinand believes Isak is exactly what United need right now, and his reasoning makes a lot of sense. First, let's talk about Isak's Premier League experience. This is huge. The Swedish international has already proven he can score goals in England's top flight. He understands the pace, the physicality, and the tactical demands of Premier League football. There would be no adaptation period needed. Last season, Isak made 34 Premier League appearances for Newcastle. He consistently caused problems for defenders with his pace, movement, and clinical finishing. More importantly, he showed he could perform in big games against top opposition. Ferdinand describes Isak as an Amorim-type player. What does this mean exactly? It means Isak fits the profile that Amorim wants in his team. He is physically strong enough to compete with Premier League defenders. He can drive with the ball and create chances for himself and his teammates. He understands tactics and can adapt to different game situations. The Swedish striker also brings energy and work rate that would fit perfectly into Amorim's system. Unlike some strikers who only focus on scoring goals, Isak contributes to the team's overall play. He tracks back when needed, presses defenders, and creates space for his teammates. Ferdinand believes Isak would have a huge impact on United's squad immediately. He would provide the experience and leadership that the younger strikers need. Højlund and Xerxes could learn from watching how Isak prepares for games, how he positions himself, and how he handles pressure situations. Another important factor is Isak's versatility. He can play as a central striker, but he can also drift wide when needed. This flexibility would give Amorim more tactical options during games. The Portuguese manager could use different formations knowing that Isak can adapt to various roles. The financial reality of getting Isak. Of course, signing Alexander Isak would not be cheap. Newcastle paid £36 million for him in 2022, but his value has increased significantly since then. Reports suggest that Newcastle would demand between £80 and £100 million for their star striker. That's a lot of money, even for Manchester United. But Ferdinand argues that this is exactly the type of investment United should make. Instead of spending money on potential, they should spend it on proven quality. The financial argument becomes even stronger when you consider United's recent transfer strategy. The club has spent money on young players with potential, but many of these signings have not worked out as planned. Maybe it's time to change approach and go for a sure thing. Ferdinand suggests that United should sell some of their surplus players to fund the Isak deal. The club has players who are not in Amorim's plans. Moving these players on could provide the money needed to make a serious bid for the Newcastle striker. From a business perspective, signing Isak could also make sense. A proven Premier League striker would likely help United achieve better results. Better results mean higher league finishes, more prize money, and potentially Champions League qualification. The financial benefits of success could justify the initial investment. There's also the marketing aspect to consider. Isak is an exciting player who would generate buzz among United fans. Season ticket sales, merchandise sales, and global interest could all increase with such a high-profile signing. What Amorim really thinks about striker signings? Interestingly, Ruben Amorim himself has given mixed signals about whether United actually need a new striker. In recent comments from the United States, the Portuguese manager suggested he might be happy to start the season with his current squad. Amorim pointed out that both Mbeumo and Cunha can play as strikers if needed. He also mentioned that he has Xerxes and Højlund available. The manager emphasized that his focus is on improving the connection between these players rather than signing someone new. This creates an interesting situation. While Ferdinand is pushing for United to break the bank for Isak, the manager might not even want a new striker. Amorim seems more focused on getting the best out of his current players. The manager's comments suggest he values players who want to be at United. He was pleased that Mbeumo and Cunha chose United despite having other options, including Champions League clubs. This suggests Amorim prioritizes commitment and desire over pure ability. However, it's worth noting that managers often say they are happy with their squad publicly while working behind the scenes to make new signings. Amorim might be managing expectations while the club works on potential deals. The alternative, Ollie Watkins option. Ferdinand also mentioned Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins as a potential target. The England international has proven himself in the Premier League and would represent a safer option than Sesko. Watkins has experience playing for a big club with European ambitions. He understands the pressure that comes with playing for a team expected to win every game. He has also shown he can score goals consistently in the Premier League. The Villa striker would likely cost less than Isak but more than Sesko. He represents a middle ground between the safe, expensive option and the risky, cheaper alternative. However, Ferdinand seems convinced that Isak is the best choice. He believes the Newcastle striker has a higher ceiling than Watkins and would make a bigger impact at Old Trafford. Why United's current strikers need help. To understand why United might need a new striker, we need to look honestly at their current options. Rasmus Højlund showed promise in his first season at Old Trafford, but he is still developing. The Danish striker has pace and power, but his finishing can be inconsistent. Joshua Zirkzee arrived with a good reputation from Bologna, but adapting to the Premier League takes time. The Dutch striker has technical ability, but he needs to get used to the physical demands of English football. Both players have potential, but potential doesn't win games. United needs someone who can guarantee goals right now. This is where an experienced striker like Isak could make the difference. Having an experienced striker would also help Højlund and Zirkzee develop faster. They could learn from watching how a proven goalscorer prepares for games and handles different situations. Competition for places would also push all the strikers to improve their performance. The pressure of playing for Manchester United. One factor that often gets overlooked in transfer discussions is the pressure of playing for Manchester United. Not every player can handle the expectations that come with wearing the United shirt. Isak has already shown he can handle pressure at Newcastle. The Swedish striker joined the club for big money and had to deal with high expectations from day one. He proved he could deliver when it mattered most. This mental strength would be crucial at United, where every game is scrutinized by millions of fans around the world. The media attention is intense, and players need to be mentally tough to succeed. Sesko, despite his talent, has not yet proven he can handle this level of pressure. Moving from RB Leipzig to Manchester United would be a huge step up in terms of expectations and media attention. The impact on team chemistry. Another important consideration is how a new striker would fit into United's dressing room. Team chemistry is crucial for success, and the wrong signing can disrupt the harmony within the squad. Amorim has praised Mbeumo and Cunha for their humble attitudes. He values players who are committed to the team's success rather than their individual glory. Any new striker would need to show the same attitude. Isak has shown throughout his career that he is a team player. He works hard for his teammates and doesn't seek individual attention. This attitude would fit well with what Amorim is trying to build at United. The Swedish striker has also shown leadership qualities at Newcastle. Despite being relatively young, he has taken responsibility during difficult moments. This leadership would be valuable in United's dressing room. Learning from past transfer mistakes. Manchester United have made many expensive transfer mistakes in recent years. The club has signed players who looked good on paper but failed to deliver on the pitch. This history makes every new signing decision even more important. The club needs to learn from these mistakes and make smarter choices. This means focusing on players who fit the manager's system and have the right mentality for United. Ferdinand's preference for Isak over Sesko might reflect this learning process. Instead of taking another risk on potential, maybe United should invest in proven quality. The Newcastle striker represents the type of signing that successful clubs make. He is in his prime, has Premier League experience, and has already proven he can score goals at the highest level. What United fans really want. At the end of the day, United fans want to see their team competing for trophies again. They are tired of seeing the club struggle to break down defensive teams. They want a striker who can score the goals that win tight games. Most fans would probably be excited about signing either Isak or Sesko. Both players would represent progress and ambition from the club. However, Ferdinand's arguments about needing experience might resonate with supporters who have seen too many young signings fail to live up to expectations. United fans have been patient with the club's rebuilding process. They understand that success takes time, but they also want to see evidence that the club is making smart decisions in the transfer market. The time factor. One crucial element in this discussion is timing. The transfer window closes on September 1st, which doesn't give United much time to complete any major deals. If the club decides to pursue Isak, they would need to move quickly. Newcastle would be reluctant to sell their star striker so late in the window unless they receive an offer they cannot refuse. The time pressure might push United toward easier targets like Sesko, who would be cheaper and potentially easier to negotiate for. However, Ferdinand would argue that United should do whatever it takes to get the right player, even if it means paying extra or working harder to complete the deal. Conclusion: the decision that could define United's season. As we reach the end of this transfer saga analysis, one thing becomes clear. The decision about which striker to sign could define Manchester United's entire season. Rio Ferdinand has made a compelling case for avoiding Benjamin Sesko and breaking the bank for Alexander Isak instead. His arguments about needing experience, Premier League knowledge, and immediate impact make a lot of sense. The Swedish striker would bring everything United need right now. He has the pace to trouble defenders, the physicality to compete in the Premier League, and the finishing ability to score crucial goals. More importantly, he has the experience and mentality to handle the pressure of playing for Manchester United. However, Ruben Amorim's recent comments suggest the manager might be happy with his current striking options. This creates uncertainty about whether United will actually make a move for any striker this summer. If United do decide to strengthen their attack, Ferdinand's advice seems wise. Instead of taking another risk on potential, maybe it's time to invest in proven quality. Isak represents exactly that type of investment. The next few weeks will reveal whether United follow Ferdinand's advice or stick with their current squad. Either way, the decision will have huge implications for the club's success this season and beyond. What do you think? Should United break the bank for Alexander Isak? Or would you prefer to see them take a chance on Benjamin Sesko? The debate continues, but one thing is certain. Manchester United need to get this decision right. Thank you for reading United News, where we bring you the most detailed and trustworthy analysis of everything Manchester United. Keep following us for more exclusive insights, transfer updates, and tactical breakdowns. We are your reliable source for all things United, and we will continue to provide the quality content you deserve as dedicated supporters of our great club.